What is it with Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists and partners with bad memories? Hey guys, episode 3 of Yu-Gi-Oh VRains has just popped and we're going to talk about it. So let's hop onto the Vrain train and talk about today's episode. So the episode kicks off with literally just after the duel ends, Yusuke goes to talk to this Hanoi guy who then tries to go all Chaozu on his ass and blow himself up. In a right twist of fate, Ignis goes all evil, turns into some giant monster and then eats the Hanoi. Fuck. After the two champion duelists appear, they both challenge Playmaker, but he quickly logs off, basically saying, look, no time guys, I'm not interested in you guys whatsoever, and disappears. We then cut to Revolver, who's basically watched this whole thing happen, and something very interesting happens with Revolver as they're talking about Playmaker. Revolver's mate's basically like, oh yeah, well at least Soul Technology doesn't have Ignis. But then Revolver does something, again, like I say, quite interesting. He starts talking in threes, very much like Yusuke does. This is a very interesting point, and it definitely drives home that there's more to Revolver than just being a villain. Like, I'm definitely 100% sure there's way more to him, and he's actually not a villain. He's actually going to be more of an anti-hero kind of character. So after that, the media is just all over Playmaker. You've got loads of media in the Vrains, just trying to get a shot of Playmaker. We then get introduced to what looks to be, I'm going to say, the comic relief of the series. Whether it was a one-off for the episode, I don't know, but we know him as a Yamamoto. Well, he's referred to as Yamamoto by this little bird who's like his cameraman, and he's like a reporter. I reckon that character might play into it a bit more as the series progresses, so we'll just have to see what happens there. Turns out, after the whole thing, as it always does, everyone who can customize their avatar is basically doing it to look like Playmaker in the originality bus that rolls through town. Cutting back to Yusuke, we then realise that the data created by the Data Storm, the card he got from the Data Storm, is now being created in, like, it's being manifested in real life. It's like the data's like creating it. It's really bizarre. I'm gonna see how that, I'm wondering if that power might, that ability I think is going to play into something fierce as the series progresses. This is where Ignis basically tells Yusuke that he has absolutely no memories of what was going on. He doesn't know what the data storms are, and his memories are fragmented. Very much like a Tem from Yu-Gi-Oh! Very similar. They've got to sort of get his memories and piece them all together. Yusuke doesn't quite trust Ignis yet either by the looks of things. He's like, well, even if you're being honest, I don't trust you anyway. He mutes him and just starts breaking down his programming to try and find out the truth. Back into the Vrains, and the whole situation with Playmaker has actually made speed dueling become this huge thing. Everyone wants to try speed dueling, but because of how dangerous it is, the programs keep coming in and saying, no, got to take you out, no, suspend your account, it's too dangerous. We then cut to a meeting with Zaizen and what I can only assume is 3 members of, like, the members of the board. They want to shut down the Vrains to kind of fix the, you know, basically patch the problem. Say, oh no, it's too dangerous, we need to stop. Zaizen actually recommends not only keeping the Vrains open, but actually lessening the security on speed duels. And like, no, let people have speed duels. You see, Soul Technologies are still trying to get a hold of Ignis and thus the Cyvers, and they know that Playmaker is kind of having a bit of a war with the Knights of Hanoi, and he basically says, look, you get rid of the Vrains, they're just going to take their fight somewhere else, and then we'll lose all our chance to get the Cyvers back. Zaizen basically argues that keeping the Vrains open and letting them speed duel will force them to basically turn the Vrains into a battlefield between Playmaker and the Knights of Hanoi. He's like, look, let them fight, and then when the opportune moment comes, then we'll strike. We'll cap Playmaker, we'll cap fucking Revolver, we'll get it all, and we'll get Ignis back as well. The next shot we see is Zaizen doing just that. He's in a car and he meets up with a mysterious girl who we will later discover is called Emma. He basically gets her, he's hiring her to investigate and learn more about Yusuke. But interestingly enough, he doesn't want her to duel Yusuke. He's like, oh, that's a simple task, anyone can do that, but I need you to find out who he is. So she's either going to have some kind of abilities or maybe some special skills that make her, you know, that she can find him, or she's just that good of a duelist. He's like, nah, you don't need to duel. I'll get a jobber to do that. We then cut to a gym that is actually the home of one of the 2 champions. Turns out this guy's name is Go Onizuka, and he is just like proper annoyed. He's so angry because Playmaker has essentially stolen the spotlight. He just wants to be, he says, hey, I'm the king of VRains, and this guy is stealing all my limelight. He's not happy about it. His manager basically says, right, well, you're going to have to, you know what, don't get mad, get even. You know, start learning how to, you know, do speed duels. He basically suggests that he practice speed dueling so he can fight Playmaker. Enters Eisen, who says, look, if you take out Playmaker for us, we will be your official sponsors. You know, opportunity of a lifetime kind of thing. He even gives him his own D-board. He's like, here's a D-board, so you can speed duel for us and beat Yusuke. Interestingly enough, though, Go actually refuses this offer, saying, no, I don't take orders from nobody. Get out, I'll do whatever. He really is not interested in working with these guys. Zaizen also makes an interesting point as he leaves about some homemade belt, no doubt going to be leading in some backstory, or it's going to be important in some way, and it's going to come back. So I thought it's an interesting thing to point out. Going back to Yusuke, who's actually at this point unlocked some of Ignis's memories. As they sort of check them out, as they come with some images, they see Cracking Dragon, first of all, along with Revolver. The strange thing is, when they do this, Revolver kind of, it gets Revolver's attention, and he is like, right, I know where he is. Yusuke quickly shuts off the power and goes out, but then he's still able to see within the VRains. I don't know if this was done for an artistic reason, or if it's just an ability that Yusuke can do, but Yusuke basically sees Revolver, and that's when Ignis tells him that's Revolver. He is the leader of the Knights of Hanoi. So Yusuke's like, right, now I know what he is, who he is, and what he looks like. After that, Yusuke's in school. His new mate is like, oh, did you see Playmaker? He's like, no, I didn't see that. I was brushing my multicoloured hair. proper giving it all. I don't know what you're on about, mate. You know, proper playing it cool. Cutting back to Yusuke's home, and he's actually left Ignis in his duel disc in, like, a little cabinet, and you could... Ignis is definitely plotting something as he starts talking to like this little cleaning droid, saying, oh, if you follow me, I'll make you smarter and better. And then the droid agrees to follow Ignis. So I think Ignis is definitely going to try to either escape or summit. There's definitely no trust between the two quite yet. So Ignis is like, oh, I don't quite trust this guy. I'm gonna try and dive out while I can. The episode ends with another Knight of Hanoi. Whether it's the same Knight of Hanoi, I really don't know. It looks like the same dude. But another Knight of Hanoi comes out on a D-board. He's there with his arms crossed like that, and he's like, I challenge Playmaker. Comes on the screen, you know, Thingy, the mate, finds it on his screen, like, oh, Playmaker, someone's challenging Playmaker. Yusuke vanishes, and he's like, I will defeat Playmaker, and then the episode ends. And that is the episode. All in all, another good episode, I thought. A lot of people will probably argue it's a very slow-paced start to a show, but to me, I've always found that not all shows, but some shows that do have a slow pace like this at the beginning, it's just, you know, it's just a warming jog, getting you into the mood. When the show really starts to really get going, I think it's gonna go like a freight train. Like, I remember a lot of people were kind of like, yeah, Arc V had a really slow start, you know, it didn't really get going, but then when it got going, it was going. I still need to watch Arc V, and maybe I will, and maybe I'll review it. But, yeah, again, another episode with no duels. You know, it was just character development, world building, oh, here's something there for the future to think about. Oh, there's a belt. Oh, what could that mean? Oh, there's Revolver's real. Oh, but who's that? Oh, it's his dad. It's giving you more to think about for the future of the story, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. Again, I don't need this Yu-Gi-Oh show to just be having a duel every single episode. But not at the beginning. Not at the beginning. We don't need that, because we need to know more about the world and everything, especially with how complicated it is. So, theories. Let's talk about some theories. I'm sticking with my theory that Revolver is not a villain. I genuinely don't think he is. I think he's actually going to be a, you know, anti-hero / doing the right thing, but, you know, doing the right thing but for the, you know, the wrong way, or doing the wrong thing for the right reasons kind of thing. I think it's very interesting that he also talks in steps of 3. And I remember back in episode 1, or is it episode 2, Yusuke mentioned that, oh, there's one of the 3 things he wanted to do was meet the person who inspired him. I think Revolver is either this person that inspired him, so he's definitely involved in Yusuke's past, but whether he's the guy that inspired him, or he's I can't remember his name, but the guy who's helping Yusuke, I think Revolver might be the little brother. There's a chance. I think there's a possibility that he's actually the little brother of this guy. Maybe that one's a stringed out theory. I'm going back to the whole 3-point. I think he was a part of Yusuke's past. I think he was the one who inspired Yusuke. I think Yusuke's gonna like look up to this guy like a sort of mentor, sort of figure. So when it's gonna make the big reveal, like he's gonna go, "Oh shit, you're that guy." So I'm going to predict in the next couple of episodes we're going to see flashbacks of Yusuke with some random kid or some random guy who sort of helped him along in some way, shape or form, and I'm going to probably in the weeks to follow be like, that guy is probably going to be Revolver. It is interesting that we don't necessarily know who Revolver is. It's more that's his avatar and that's only how we know him. And again, that's just building up to a big reveal, but I think it's going to be someone important to Yusuke's past. Whether it's an actual family relative or just someone who he knows. I don't think he's a villain though. The more that I see, the less I'm convinced he's a full-on villain. Like, I think he's just, I don't know, it's hard to say right now, but I'm not sure I don't think he's completely a bad guy. Or if he is, I think he's going to become good later. I think I'm sticking to my guns on that one. It's also hard to say what Ignis is up to. I think he's kind of wanting to get away because he was captured against his will. He wants to try and, hop on, get out of it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all folds out. But all in all, again, just overall rating, I thought it was a great episode again. Again, slow burner, but I don't mind it when a show has a bit of a slow start because it's building the world, and I'm all for that personally. I'm like, yeah, go for it. You need to build your world, man. Do what you got to do. We got to see some more characters, and they're not giving us too much. They're just giving us little stuff, to think about for the future. I think that's some good storytelling, and I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. So, yeah, good episode. Good episode 3. Yeah. So that's all I've got time for today, guys. Join me next Friday as we review episode 4, and I'll see you all then. Take care.